The night was quiet in München, the kind of quiet that made the sound of footsteps echo against cobblestone streets. Lucas walked home slowly, his school bag heavy on his shoulders. The weight of the books was nothing compared to the weight inside his chest. He had just returned from another long day at the gymnasium, one of the most respected schools in the city. His teachers praised him for his diligence, but the moment he stepped inside his house, praise was never the language spoken. At home, achievements were obligations and failures were punishments. His father, a stern man who worked in finance, believed in perfection. His mother, graceful and demanding, carried the same belief. For them, Lucas was not simply a son. He was an investment, a reflection of their ambition. Whenever Lucas brought home excellent marks, his father only said, "That is expected." Whenever he scored less than perfect, silence turned into sharp words that cut deeper than any knife. As Lucas reached the front door, he paused for a moment. The warm light from the window spilled onto the pavement, but he did not feel its warmth. Instead, he took a deep breath, bracing himself. Inside that door lay a world that never truly saw him. That evening, the family dinner was quiet. The sound of cutlery striking porcelain was the only rhythm. Lucas dared to speak of his day, mentioning that he had been invited to join a group project in literature. His father looked up for a brief moment, unimpressed. "Literature is nothing," he said flatly. "Concentrate on mathematics. That will give you a future." Lucas lowered his gaze to his plate. The roasted potatoes and red cabbage felt tasteless in his mouth. His mother added no comfort. She only reminded him of the exam scheduled in 2 weeks, as though nothing else in life mattered. After dinner, Lucas retreated to his room. From the small window, he could see the glowing lights of München, the tram sliding quietly along Maximilianstrasse, and groups of students laughing together. A life that seemed so close, yet so far from him. He wondered, as he often did, whether he was living his own life or simply existing in one designed for him. In that silence, he whispered the question that had haunted him for years. Do they value me, or do they only value what I can achieve? The city outside was alive with possibilities. But inside his room, Lucas felt as though he was disappearing into the shadows of his parents' expectations. The next morning, Lucas walked through the gates of his school. The tall brick buildings stood proudly, decorated with carved stone and ivy that clung to the walls. Students filled the courtyard with laughter, sharing stories from the night before. Lucas felt a quiet distance between himself and the others. He carried his books close to his chest, as though they were his only companions. In class, Lucas excelled. His answers came quickly, precise, as though he had rehearsed every word. Teachers nodded with approval, yet his classmates exchanged glances. Some admired his ability. Others saw him only as the boy who never made mistakes, the boy who was too serious. During the break, a group of classmates gathered around a wooden bench. They laughed and teased one another, speaking of a concert planned for the weekend. One of them, Anna, turned to Lucas. She was bright, with a kind smile that felt genuine. "Will you join us on Saturday? It will be fun," she asked. For a moment, Lucas felt the warmth of being included. Yet almost instantly, he thought of his parents. They would never allow him to waste an evening on music when exams were so near. "I cannot," he replied softly, his eyes lowering. "I have to study." The smile on Anna's face faded, though she tried to hide her disappointment. Lucas walked away, his footsteps heavy. He could feel the invisible wall between himself and the others growing taller, brick by brick. That night, he sat by his window once again. He thought of the concert, of the laughter he had seen at school, and of the life that seemed out of reach. The city lights twinkled like stars against the dark sky, mocking him with their freedom. In the stillness, he began to realize something. His parents had not only taken control of his time, but they had stolen the chance for him to feel alive. At home, silence ruled like a tyrant. Lucas had grown accustomed to it, the silence that followed any moment when he sought affection. His father's footsteps echoed through the hall like the ticking of a clock, precise and unrelenting. His mother's voice was gentle but sharp, carrying reminders of duties and expectations. One evening, as rain tapped against the window, Lucas decided to test the silence. He placed his books aside and spoke carefully at the dinner table. "I would like to try painting again," he said. His words trembled, though he forced himself to sound steady. "I used to enjoy it." His father's fork froze halfway to his mouth. The silence deepened until the ticking clock on the wall became the only sound. "Painting will not bring you a career," his father said finally. His tone was calm, but there was no space for argument. "Focus on mathematics. The world rewards logic, not colors on a canvas." Lucas swallowed hard. His mother did not defend him. She only added, "Your father is right." The silence that followed was heavier than before. Lucas felt as though his small spark of hope had been smothered before it could even burn. That night, he opened a sketchbook hidden beneath his bed. Its pages were empty, untouched for years. He picked up a pencil and began to draw by candlelight. The lines were shaky at first, but with each stroke he felt his chest loosen. For the first time in weeks, he allowed himself to breathe. And yet, he also knew that if his parents discovered it, the sketchbook would be taken away. His freedom lived only in the shadows. One autumn evening, Lucas wandered through the Englischer Garden, the great park at the heart of München. The leaves had begun to fall, painting the ground in shades of gold and crimson. He walked until he reached the edge of the Isar River, where the water flowed swiftly, whispering secrets only the night could hear. It was here that he met Anna once again. She was sitting on a bench, sketching in a small notebook. Her eyes lit up when she saw him. "Lucas," she said softly, "you never join us. But I thought you might be here tonight." He hesitated, unsure whether to stay or turn away. But something in her voice anchored him. He sat beside her, his hands folded tightly in his lap. Anna showed him her drawings. They were not perfect, but they were alive with color and imagination. "I draw to feel free," she explained. "Do you ever do that?" Lucas looked at her notebook and then down at his own hands. He whispered, "I used to." For the first time, he confessed to someone about his hidden sketchbook. Anna listened without judgment. She simply nodded and said, "You should never stop. Even if no one else understands, you must keep that part of yourself alive." Her words lingered in his mind long after they parted. For the first time, Lucas felt that someone truly saw him. The following weeks passed with an uneasy rhythm. Lucas studied harder than ever, his parents watching every step. But inside him, something had begun to change. The quiet encouragement from Anna had planted a seed of rebellion. One afternoon, while walking home, he stopped by an art supply shop tucked away on a side street. The windows displayed brushes and paints, colors brighter than anything in his gray world. With trembling hands, Lucas stepped inside and bought a small set of watercolors using the money he had saved from lunches. That evening, while his parents were occupied in the living room, Lucas locked his bedroom door. He placed the paints upon his desk and opened his sketchbook. His hands moved as though they belonged to someone else, guided by a force stronger than fear. Hours passed unnoticed. When he finally looked up, the first painting stared back at him. It was a simple scene, the Isar River beneath the autumn sky, but filled with life and color. It was his truth, captured on paper. Yet, as he admired the painting, fear struck him again. If his parents discovered it, they would see not beauty, but betrayal. He quickly hid the painting beneath his mattress, his heart pounding. The cracks in the glass of his life had begun to form. And once cracks appeared, they could not easily be ignored. The storm arrived sooner than Lucas expected. One night, his father entered his room without warning. He found the sketchbook lying open upon the desk, a half-finished drawing exposed under the lamplight. His father's face hardened. "What is this?" he demanded. Lucas tried to answer, but his words caught in his throat. His father picked up the sketchbook and flipped through its pages. Each drawing was judged with silent disapproval. Finally, he closed the book with a sharp snap. "This is a waste of your time," his father declared. "Do you wish to throw away your future for childish fantasies?" Lucas felt his chest tighten, but something inside him refused to bend this time. He whispered, almost trembling, "It is not a waste. It is mine." The room fell silent. His father's eyes narrowed, and for a moment Lucas thought he would strike him. Instead, his father placed the sketchbook back upon the desk with deliberate force. "You will stop this nonsense," he said coldly. "Tomorrow, all of this will be gone." That night, Lucas lay awake, staring at the ceiling. His father's words echoed in his head. But so did Anna's. "You must keep that part of yourself alive." The storm had broken. Lucas knew he could no longer hide forever. Determined not to lose what little freedom he had, Lucas began to live two lives. By day, he was the obedient son, his head buried in textbooks, answering his parents with quiet respect. By night, he became someone else. He painted by candlelight, each stroke of the brush a secret act of defiance. He hid his work beneath loose floorboards, where no one could find it. His secret world grew with each passing night, filled with rivers, skies, and faces that captured the emotions he could never speak aloud. One evening, Anna invited him to a small gathering at a local cafe. It was a place where young artists displayed their work upon the walls. Lucas hesitated, torn between fear and desire. At last, he agreed. The cafe was alive with music and laughter. Paintings hung across the brick walls, vibrant and fearless. Lucas felt a pang of longing. Anna noticed. "One day, your work will be here too," she said with quiet certainty. The thought both thrilled and terrified him. Could he dare to imagine such a future? The exams arrived, and with them came unbearable pressure. Lucas studied late into the night, his father watching closely. But the fire inside him had shifted. Each number and formula blurred before his eyes, while colors and shapes danced in his thoughts. When the results came, they were excellent, but not perfect. His father's disappointment was clear. "You are slipping," his father said coldly. "Do not waste your potential." Something inside Lucas cracked. For years, he had lived under their shadow, measured by their standards, denied the right to breathe freely. He looked at his father and spoke words he had never dared before. "I am not your project. I am not your investment. I am your son." The words hung in the air, sharp and final. His father's face turned pale with fury. His mother gasped, but Lucas did not stay to hear their response. He grabbed his sketchbook and stormed out of the house, his heart racing. For the first time, he did not care where he was going. He only knew he had to be free. Lucas found himself wandering the streets of München long after midnight. The city was alive in a way he had never noticed, with lights glowing in every window and music spilling from cafes. He carried his sketchbook close to his chest, as though it were his lifeline. Eventually, his steps brought him to the cafe Anna had shown him. Its door was closed, but the memory of the art inside gave him strength. He sat on a bench nearby and opened his sketchbook. The pages fluttered in the night breeze, revealing his hidden world. He began to draw again, faster and freer than ever before. Passers-by paused, curious, some offering small smiles of admiration. For the first time, Lucas felt his art was not a secret. It was a voice, and the world could hear it. Anna found him there. She had been searching, worried when he had not appeared at school. Seeing him surrounded by strangers who admired his work, she smiled with pride. "You see," she whispered, "this is who you are meant to be." The dawn broke over München, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold. Lucas had not returned home. He sat by the riverbank, his sketchbook resting beside him. The cold air bit his skin, yet he felt alive in a way he never had before. The choice before him was clear. He could return home, surrendering once again to the life his parents demanded. Or he could step forward into the unknown, carrying only his art and the strength of his own voice. As the first tram rattled across the bridge, Lucas rose to his feet. He looked at the city spread before him, its towers and spires reaching into the sky. His heart was heavy, yet filled with a determination that would not break. For the first time in his life, Lucas felt that his existence was not measured by marks or approval. His life had value because it was his own. He walked towards the rising sun, the sketchbook pressed firmly against his side, ready to write the story of who he truly was.